Hi guys, today we're here to do lesson 12-3. We're going to compare decimals. I've got Mr. J over here today too. Hey,
Hi,
Mr.
Dad.
J. Okay, so before we jumped over to the interactive student edition and started our lesson in the book, I wanted to remind you guys of something. Do you remember when we were comparing fractions, adding fractions, and subtracting fractions? I taught you that the denominators have to match. That's called common denominators. Well, in this problem I have here, 43 hundredths plus 1/10. I can't do this problem. My denominators are not common denominators. So I have to make common denominators. If you can remember how we learn to do it, usually we start with the smaller number denominator and we make it match the other one. Can I make 10 match 100? Sure I can. We learned a little trick. We said what you do to the bottom, gotta do to the top. So 10 times what is going to give me 100? Well, 10 times 10 is going to give me 100. So I have 100 on the bottom here. And we said what I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. And 1 times 10 is 10. That means instead of using 1/10, I'm going to use 10 1/100ths. Well, now I can add my fraction. And I know that anytime I add fractions, I keep the same denominator. It's like adding apples to apples. You don't end up with double apples. You just end up with apples. And then 43 plus 10 is 53. So I just had to make common denominators first. I want you to keep this in mind as we do decimals because it's going to work very much the same way. Let's take a look at how that would work the same way. 43 hundredths could also look like this. No holes and 43 hundredths. Here's my tenths. Here's my hundredths. So this is red 43 hundredths plus no holes and 1/10. When we're adding a fraction like this, I want you to keep thinking to yourself, do my denominators match? I have hundredths here and tenths here. Am I going to be able to add that? Well, yes, but it's a lot less confusing if I have the same denominators. And in decimals, it means, are we going to end in the same place value slot? Well, here we have 3 hundredths. How many hundredths do we have here? Well, we don't have any hundredths here. When there are no hundredths, there are 0 hundredths. So before I add one like this, I kind of like to fill in the trailing zeros here to make it a little less confusing. So now I have 4 tenths plus 1/10 equals 5 tenths. And I have 3 hundredths plus 0 hundredths equals 3 hundredths. 53 hundredths, 53 hundredths. So this is a cool trick to use, but it's up to you. So let's scoot on over to our interactive smartboard so that we can do our problems today. My camera lady is going to get settled over there, right? Okay, I'm in the interactive student edition. This matches your workbook for lesson 12-3. A penny made in 1982 weighs about 11 hundredths of an ounce. A penny made in 2013 weighs about 9 hundredths of an ounce. Which penny weighs more? So I like to circle my important